competition this morning on the weather. I knew it was going to get to 26, it wasn't going to get to 27, and Barbara was one light. Makes it really difficult for her. Monday the 21st of October, coming into a brand spanking new week, and let me do this. That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and today, believe me, absolutely elated, because we're going to be talking to John Johnson from the band Touch the Buffalo. Now, you know, I'm sure there's laws about things like this, so I'm going to find out. Anyway, you're right here at Galaxy, and I'm loving this band, I really, really am. Here, joining us live, is Touch the Buffalo Voices on Galaxy. So that gives us a couple of minutes to get to know each other.
Cool.
Now, did I hear right when I was walking down? Are you a vegan?
I'm a vegetarian, but only since 2018. I've only been really good about it since February of this year. Before February, I probably cheated a few times a year, you know?
Okay. Because I've got a question, and I will ask it. I really will. Everybody uses, don't ask a vegan, for fuck's sakes.
No swearing, please.
Sorry, but I do, okay, because I'm just that kind of guy.
Sure.
I really am. But I like to throw a bit of humour into this. I like to cover a lot of information as much as we can at the same time, including places like your recording studios who produces stuff like that. Got to give them a shout out. So, yeah, believe me, we cover as much as we possibly can. At the same time, we like to keep it light and humorous.
Yes.
You know, well, we have to. I mean, you're looking at me, for God's sake. Look at that. I got the perfect face for radio.
Oh, yeah. I brushed my teeth to make sure that, I didn't offend you guys with the smell.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Oh, dear. Rick Lovett is joining us. Nice to have you on board, Rick. It really is. Majek Zant is joining us, and that mysterious five others. With mysterious five others, please stand up. Show us who you are. It just says five others. And that guy, CC Crit, is joining us as well. Nice to have CC with us. Today we're talking, of course, to John Johnson. John, honestly, what's Virginia like? You know, I mean, what's it like living over there right now?
Oh, okay. Virginia, I've been in Virginia since, 20 years now. I came here when I was 15. I moved from Maine, which is a cold northern state up here. So, it's different because it doesn't get as cold. You hear, we're right outside D.C. I know the rest of the world doesn't really know U.S. geography very well. But where I'm in Virginia, I'm like 4 miles away from the White House. The Pentagon is a mile away from where I live.
I feel sorry for you.
You know what? Like once a week, helicopters fly around and disturb whatever you're doing. So that does have its trade-offs. But like the unspoken thing there is, I live pretty close to one of the wealthiest areas in the world. Like, there's a lot of luxury around here. But I think of the traveling I've done within the United States, this area is maybe among the best for food that I've seen so far. So I like the area. It's a really great combination of outdoorsy stuff and also developed city. So yeah, it's nice right now.
Very cool.
Weird time, but physical experience.
I
nice.
promise I am not going to ask you a single political question. Okay.
You're a smart person.
Yeah, no, it's just that we don't do it. Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
Unless you want to divulge what Trump's hair's made out of.
Oh.
Hold on.
Wonderful.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM. Steve Smith is joining us. Nice to have you on board, Steve. It really, really is. Dave Crimmin is also joining, and Jeff Bateson. All welcome. Nice to have you on board. Today we're talking to John Johnson from the band Touch the Buffalo. And I've got to ask, I have got to ask. Good morning, John. Good afternoon over there, and welcome to Galaxy to start off with. But I really got to know, where did the name come from? I'm sure you get asked that all the time.
Yeah, okay. The quick answer is that I did touch a buffalo. The slightly longer answer is that it was part of a post graduation trip. Some friends of mine and I graduated college. We didn't have a lot of money, so we went to this one of those drive-through safari park type things. And the pamphlet that they have says, we don't go near the buffalo. But we didn't read it. We're in, as customers. We're driving through, there's a herd of buffalo asleep, 100 yards away. We kind of stop and just look at it mystified. And one of these buffalo stands up and starts walking over to our car. And I'm in the driver's seat, and I got three friends in the car with me, one behind me. The guy behind me and I, as the buffalo comes up to the car, his head is kind of in the window, and I was like, I'm going for it. So I started petting its face, and it loves it, and dirt is falling off its face. The fur on its face feels like a stale, shag carpet. And me and my friend behind me are petting it, and the two guys on the other side of the car are too scared to do anything about it. Whatever. The reason I thought that was a unique experience, and then what was extra interesting about it is about a month later, so like I said, we graduated college. This is 2011. The United States, around 2008, we went into a really bad economic crisis, and it took us a few years to kind of bounce back. So we were having a tough time finding jobs. And but a month after that experience, both me and that same guy who was sitting behind me got hired to the same company. But we didn't know about it until we told each other, hey, I just got a new job. So to me, the whole thing was just a very exciting experience, a serendipitous,
Absolutely. Well, I got to love your name. I really, really do. And got to congratulate you too. Among one of the very few New Zealanders that's ever touched the buffalo, I have. Used to have one at the Auckland Zoo, and it was a petter. So I know the feel of the hair and everything that you're saying. Believe me, very coarse, kind of grade on the hair.
Yeah.
Just a big hairy cow, really, aren't they, with horns?
Yeah.
Really. Christine Clifford is joining us. Nice to have you on board, Christine, and welcome to the show. Today we're talking to John Johnson from Touch the Buffalo, coming out of, really, he's in DC, really. And I told him that I wouldn't ask a single political question unless he wants to divulge what that thing is on Trump's head. And I'm sure scientists are still trying to figure that one out. They've got satellites working on it now. But having said that, I heard the other day that Harris has gone out and bought herself a brand new, really fast car, getting ready for the information highway.
That's great.
Yeah, well, she failed trying to find the cloud. She was flying around on the helicopter trying to find the cloud there. Wasn't working for her, so she thought she'd buy a fast car instead. So, that's about as much as the politics I'm going to get into. Having said that, we opened up the show with voices, John. I think it would be remiss of me if I didn't say, tell me all about it. How'd you come to the lyrics?
Oh, okay, so every once in a while, when you're trying to come up with a melody, you'll just say some whatever stupid, placeholder words. And so some of those words were kind of placeholder words, but once I had, there were, I think, in the chorus, the lyrics are, when the stars are out and the voices they want you to sing, well, a telephone rings. So initially it started off as gibberish, but what I kind of built around it was just the whole daydream of wanting to make it in some whatever avenue is relevant to you, whatever dream you're going after, just wanting to go for it. So, but it's hidden on the surface. The lyrics and the verses might seem as if you're opining for a romantic interest, but it's interesting. I mean, we personify things that aren't people, like Lady Luck. You can Lady Fame could be the same thing. So it's almost like a romantic daydreaming towards, something like that.
Absolutely brilliant. Now, I do have a young lady by the name of Pauline coming out of London in Canada. She's asking, John, as a fan, how do we get hold of you? Are you on Facebook? Are you on X, Twitter? Are you a talker? Are you on Reddit? But more importantly, if we do get hold of you, do you respond?
Oh, so we have Instagram, we have Facebook, we're on YouTube. I had X for a bit, but I deleted it. I started getting notifications about having to pay for certain things, so I was like, yeah, screw, I don't really. Well, I'm not super into social media anyway. I know you're supposed to have it in order to, brand and have people find you. That being said, if you want to ask us questions on Facebook or Instagram or even YouTube, I kind of like the YouTube community space the best of all social media. But you know what? So this is a little counterintuitive. I'll respond absolutely, but in terms of creating social media content, I just don't necessarily feel that's the way. Like I want to make music. I want people to like my music. I don't want to be part of your everyday life. I don't think I need to be creating stuff every 2 days that you gotta pay attention to. And when I always think of my favorite bands, I'm not looking forward to doing every single day of the week. Not to say I feel like I'm a good conversationalist. I feel like things people would like to hear, but I'm trying to make music. I'm trying to make music that you have in your playlist and that you bop to and help get you through a tough time.
I've got a young man by the name of Terry Van Cannon coming out of North Carolina, and he says, sounding great, love that you sneak a different type of instrument like the uke, because I use different instruments. He's a lap steel master, I've got to be honest with you, he is. So he's absolutely loving your work right now. Speaking of a uke, and believe me, I'm loving this as well. You've been playing the uke for a long time now, and what made you bring this into the music realm of the pop world?
Oh, it's okay. I'll get you. I initially, when I was in college, I bought a ukulele, kind of jokingly. I'm sure you're familiar with the cliche of the guy with the guitar in the college quad picking up chicks. I was like, that sounds great. I don't want to carry a heavy guitar everywhere. A ukulele is like a portable. So it was kind of initially as a joke, and for years I would spend 1 half hour per month just playing around with some chords for a cover song. And it was always just kind of like a thing in the background. It wasn't too serious. But fast forward to ages 25, 26, 27. I started going to open mics to support a friend who was doing music, and eventually I got the itch. I was like, I know a cover song or two. So that kind of started bringing me more into the music world. So that being said, I'm entering the music world not knowing how far I'm going to go into it, but with only knowing how to play the ukulele. And so then, through that avenue, we have one friend one day who shows up and he has an amplifier and he's got a guitar on stage and he puts this distortion on his guitar. I was like, oh my god, I forgot about distortion. I can plug a ukulele into an amplifier. Let's start playing around with that. I happened to make friends in this open mic scene who were heavy into rock music and were much more talented musicians than I was. So it was just very lucky and serendipitous that they were happy to play rock music with our rhythm guitar actually being a rhythm electric ukulele.
I love it. I really do. It's been a long time since I've played a uke. Really has been. I think the last time I played, I think it was Tiny Tim's Tiptoe Through the Tulips or something like that, many years ago. So, yeah, it's been a long time since I played the uke, but I absolutely love it.
See it.
You have a what?
I have it right here. You want to see it?
Yeah, bring it out. Show us your big boy toy.
Yeah. So this is my electric ukulele I custom made from a shop in South Africa, Banner Guitar Works. So the front is actually made from an old fence. So I like it.
That is very cool. I've got a friend of mine that makes tin alley guitars out of biscuit tins and stuff like that. So believe me, I love people being creative, especially with guitars. I really do. They're kind of my favourite. They really are. Heart is War. Tell me about this, because this is a fantastic track.
Thank you so much. I was very proud of that one. The lyrics and story are a bit of an aftermath. I had the ukulele part rhythm down already, and I thought that was really exciting. And then when I brought it to the guys, and when we added the bass and drums to it, and also obviously the guitar solo towards the end, they really elevated it. But the lyrics, okay, do you know the band The Decemberists?
Mm-hmm. Hmm?
Okay, I discovered them. Well, a friend sent me some of the music when I was in college. I remember hearing the song Valencia, and Valencia is this very kind of like catchy tune, really boppy. But it wasn't until like the third, fourth listen through that I noticed the lyrics were actually kind of like dark and sad. And I'm like, what an interesting like juxtaposition of things. You got these like lyrics that you would fit a sad song, but the song is actually bouncy energy. So I love that. That's something I kind of wanted to explore. Hard as 4 is that. So you get this kind of bouncy rock song that moves, but the lyrics are about people going through a breakup. But I wanted to be a bit more of an honest take on a breakup as opposed to like, because my experience listening to what I had been exposed to from, romance music, obviously you get your breakup songs, but it's usually somebody's, very obviously the bad guy and someone's very obviously the good guy. And seldom in my experiences are breakups that way. It's usually, it's not working out or both people are involved to some extent to, what's going wrong. And so lyrically, I wanted to represent that in the lyrics, and I think I did, but also with the same contrast of it being a song where the energy does not match the story necessarily.
Very, very cool. So, I tell you what, you're right here at Galaxy. Glad to have everybody joining us. Today we're talking to John from the band Touch the Buffalo, and here is Heart is For, right here in Galaxy. How you feeling, John? You okay?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Nice, nice. How many countries are tuned in right now? 158 countries. That's not bad.
That's awesome.
Yeah, not bad. Okay. What about cities? 5319. 6319. Okay, 6,319. That's even better. But John, honestly, the number you want is when we finish this. Now, honestly, we don't know whether it's one person or 10 because it's only the IP addresses, if you know what I mean. But you want the number of those IPs, and believe me, you'll be amazed.
Oh, cool.
You really will be. I promise you will. Because, as I said, we're in every country in the world, right?
Yeah, big deal.
It comes up in the numbers. It does. It really does. But the numbers I'm going to tell you at the end of this, we're very, very proud of. We've worked hard for over 10 years, and we think that they're fantastic numbers. But the story I'm going to tell you, and it's a true story, because believe me, when Barbara and I were in the car driving home from Auckland after arriving back in the country, we both looked at each other on the way home and went, did that really happen? Right? It was like a fairy tale. It was like, wow, really. But it's transpired that this works out for indie artists. And that's what interests us, you know what I mean? Is getting your music into a country that has never heard Western music in over 55 years.
Yeah. I mean, I hope to represent music well then.
Well, I tell you what, they estimate, and believe me, we're not going into this blind. We've paid for people to go out, do some research for us, and they reckon in the first year we'll have about 150 million listeners.
Yeah, that's big. Congratulations, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. So the number I'm going to give you is a little shy of that.
That's exciting. Wow.
It really is. And I tell you what, it's going to benefit everybody in the indie artist realm, if you know what I mean. And as I say to you right from the start, we only take the best of the best. It's true.
Come on.
You know,
Thank you so much.
Believe me, this is going to be an exciting ride, and we want everybody to come.
Woohoo.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and today, absolutely elated, we're joined by John Johnson from the band Touch the Buffalo, and absolutely love their work. I really do. Now, we've got to ask you, John, is this studio work, are you getting this done in a professional studio, or are you getting it done in a home studio?
Both, and I can break it down because we've had a number of releases, and several of the songs that you're pulling, so Heart of Spore, Nerd Love, and Voices, that album was done at Bias Studios in Springfield, Virginia, and recorded and mixed by Ken Barnum, who's incredibly talented. The following EP that we just put out in 2023, or was that 2023? We put that. I think we put that this year. Ooh, we did it this year. Okay. We did some of that stuff at Bias. I think the drums are at Bias, but I think the guitars and voices and ukulele are done in my guitarist's basement. Because over you've been mixing for 47 years. You were saying, like, yeah, you can be the most talented mixer in the world. You don't know the inside of my brain. If I don't know how, like, the vernacular for mixing goes, that's a bridge we're going to have time crossing. So, over the years, having worked at Bias Studios, we got some exposure to some of the software. We started doing our own research, and as talented these guys are, there's some things in our brains that we weren't able to totally bring to reality. So the last EP we put out, it was some things were recorded at Bias. And then we did some kind of pre-mixing ourselves, but we did pass them off to Mark Reiter, who did the recording at Bias Studios, and then he did the final mixing, and then it was mastered. I can't remember the guy's name. Man, that's so bad. That's unfortunate. I can't remember the guy's name, but it was produced. It was mastered by a very talented man in Vienna. I feel bad I can't remember his name at the moment. But yeah, those are all professionally done. So you're going to play in 6 about it eventually. Some of the guitars were recorded in a home studio basement.
Now, the reason why I asked that, and you kind of touched on this, you see, I have this, it's a curse, to be very honest with you, because as an engineer, when I listen to music, I try and break it down. I try and reverse engineer it to figure out how your engineer thought, how they put it together, how they structured it, and in the end, how the finished product came out. And to be very honest with you, these days, the quality that are coming out of home studios is, if not as good, sometimes better than the professional studios, you know what I mean? And the engineer themselves, the artists, know what they want. And as an engineer myself, that's the one thing I always try to bring out when I'm trying to record somebody is, give me what you want, not what I want to give you back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So as an engineer, and it is a curse, I do try and break it down. I do try and figure it out. I do try and see just where your producer was taking you with your lyrics, with your band, with your music, everything, and I've always loved the challenge of trying to do that. Now, I've got to be honest with you, I'm hugely a big fan of the track Nerd Love. Now, believe me, I really am. But before I do that, I've got to ask you, got a young lady by the name of Michelle coming out of Devon in the UK, and she's saying, do you have a website where I can buy merch? Do you have any product? Do you have caps, koozies, t-shirts? Where can I go?
Absolutely. We do have a website. I think it's called, I think it's touchthebuffalo.threadless.com or threadless.touchthebuffalo.com. It's some sequence of those words. I'm pretty sure that site is linked on all our social media, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, whatever. But you can buy mugs, you can buy t-shirts, you can buy shower curtains, you can buy skateboards. You're buy all the merch you'd like, for sure.
Absolutely, but you know something, you're going to have to send me a t-shirt now.
You're not having a skateboard.
I will. We have a fantastic logo. Oh, sorry, what was that, Barbara?
Barbara says, you're not having a skateboard. Oh. I'm just
so sorry, man.
Oh, bugger. I'm just the type of guy that would say, yeah, throw one of those my way, believe me, but I'll settle for a cup, apparently.
Yeah, if you guys are repping our merch around, New Zealand, yes, absolutely.
Well, I tell you what, and this actually does happen. I've had so many people tell me this in the past while you're doing the interviews. They want to go and find out who I'm wearing. Today I'm wearing Marshall Potts, by the way. Not that I'm doing any shameless self-promotion for Marshall Potts, but while they're watching these interviews, they'll be on the interwebby thing now, typing in the name and buying a couple of koozies, a couple of caps, and some t-shirts as well. Don't forget to add your size and where to send it. Postcode. Okay, things like that have happened in the past. I go, hey, listen, we got the order, we don't know where to send it. Fill in the blanks, literally. But yeah, it does work. So if you want to send me one, honestly, John, I'd be more than proud to wear a Touch the Buffalo logo.
I would love to send it to you, and if our logos aren't just something, I love working with artists in any medium. I happen to be blessed to know people who are very talented in multiple things. So our logos were done by our friends. Our logos, our album covers have been done by our friends, and they're amazing. And so for multiple reasons, I would love to get that over to you guys.
Awesome. Well, I tell you what, I'll get Barbara to give you all my sizes, all the details, stuff like that. She's good at it because I wouldn't have a clue what my sizes are, literally. Women are though, don't you think?
What's that?
Women do know how to size a man's...
Yeah, I don't know how they know. They won't tell us either. But
No, they walk in and go, oh, sweet, and before you know it, they're shopping and you've got new shirts, new pants. You go, you didn't even take my size. Don't need to, I already know. They are very good at it. They really, really are. So, anyway, better get into it, I've been told. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking to John Johnson from the band Touch the Buffalo. Here is Nerd Love. I love this track. I do.
Thank you.
Oh, I really do. But I've got to be honest with you. The next one up is This City's Burning. But I play Six Heads About It in my car.
Oh, cool! Man, that makes me feel so good because we took a huge swing with that one. We were trying a whole bunch of new things, and we spent so much time with it. By the time we had the finished product, I don't even know. I have no idea what even sound is anymore. So and then we get kind of mixed reviews about it. Some people love it, some people don't care, and some people don't like it. So whenever I hear someone say they like it, it always makes me feel good because it's always tricky when you're trying new things. You have no idea how people are gonna respond.
Well, let me tell you, not only is it your most requested track, you've got 2,791 requests for it so far, and climbing. Wow. You'll have more tomorrow morning, I know it. I know it, And the truth behind the matter, John, is I can't get through a breakfast show without seeing Touch the Buffalo on the list.
That's awesome.
Every morning, right? Every morning.
That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that information.
Well, it's the truth. I'm not going to hold it back. It is the truth. You know what I mean? So
it still feels good. Voices was another one too. We would play that one live, and sometimes people loved it, and sometimes people were like, "We like your rock music more." And it's like, okay, you'll have to.
Voices is 1,299 requests for that one.
Awesome.
That's I think why we started. We've started at the lowest request and worked our way up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Believe me, I really am a big fan of Six Heads About It, though. I really am.
Thank you again. I'm happy to talk about that one because, writing lyrically, that was an experience I went through that yielded those lyrics. But then writing that song, we all grew a lot as a band, just trying to navigate where we wanted that one to go. So I'm happy to talk about that for hours.
Okay, well, the next one up is, of course, This City's Burning. I don't know. Should we get some dangerous stuff going or what? I've always wanted to be in a city. I'll tell you what, the weirdest thing, and I've got to be honest with you, was that zombie apocalypse time, the pandemic, when nobody was around. Honestly, as soon as I found out the streets were empty, I was in the car. Let's go and have a look.
Yeah, Chuck was great for like a year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was lovely. I enjoyed it. I really did. And, but the weirdest thing is walking down through the middle of a main street. I mean, papers flying down the street like old tumbleweeds and shit. Nobody around. God, it was beautiful.
Do you remember 2 weeks in when they started like showing satellite footage of different parts of the world? Like, oh, the Earth is healing. Like the water in Venice is clear for the first time in like a century. You know?
Exactly. It was beautiful. It really was.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the desk. That's right, you're right here at Galaxy at 107 FM, and today we're talking to John Johnson from the band Touch the Buffalo, and I will admit that I'm a big fan of their work, I really, really am, and I love how they structure and put songs together. Crystal Starness is joining us, as well as Sammy Subir as well. Nice to have you guys on board, it really, really is. Sasha Herbert is in there, and Samantha Lilith Eubanks. Hello, nice to have you back. Ricky Davis is in there as well. And so, believe me, absolutely got a packed house. And Sean Simpson. Hello, sweetheart. Nice to have you back. It really is. Now, John, I've got to ask you, really, how long have you been performing as an artist before you put this band together?
Almost, they happened at the same time. Let's see, I think it was 2015. I think I was 27 years old when I started doing. I was 27 when I started the band, and I'd only been doing open mics for like a year and a half before that. And I was still pretty bad when I first started the band. I seemed to have a knack for know what sounds good and writing decent songs. But our first 6 months of playing, everyone had to witness me kind of improve in front of their eyes. It was rough at first. I was not playing I was late to the game to even get into this stuff, and I was not playing for long before trying to take it seriously.
As I've said, I've got an ear for these things. I've been around the game a number of years, and to me it sounds like you're very seasoned. Very, very seasoned. It really, really does. Dale Hammond from the Hammond Brothers, the famous, legendary Hall of Famers, is joining us this morning as well. And not enough, I see the boss is watching as well, so I really am going to have to be good now.
It's the wrong one. It's got Debbie Bryant t-shirt.
Oh, okay, wrong one. Okay, sorry.
That'll be why.
Yeah, that'll be why, won't it?
There. Oh, go up.
Whoop, go up one. There we go. Me and technology, we get on like a house on fire.
Here you go.
If the house is on fire, I'm out. I'm gone. So, yeah, okay, fair enough. We're back on board. Having said that, at the same time, I've got to say to you that I like your work so much that I'm kind of asking, anything new in the can? You got anything new coming up in the near future?
I am working on an album. I'm working on a concept album. So I've had this idea since 2017, and it's what's funny is so we put an EP out this year. It took us 4 years to write that EP, which is too long, and we were only writing that EP as a way to buy some time so we could work on the album. But things just didn't play out that way. The EP ended up taking a long, long time. But now it's nose to the grindstone to work on this concept album, and I'm very excited about it because it's not going to just be an album. I actually have I'm working with one of the artists who actually one of our logos. He's working on a graphic novel for the story that goes with this album. So, but that being said, there's no way that thing comes out by the end of 2025. Because it's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of work to do for this one.
That's exciting, especially for people like me. That means maybe, just maybe, you'll pass that on to us when it's ready, and you'll come back for another interview. Would you consider that?
Oh, absolutely. I'll come back as much as you guys want. And I also want to add, because one of the things I'm touring around with, I mentioned there's going to be a graphic novel to this. The graphic novel will be a collection of comics. Each comic will be dedicated to a song. So I'm kind of playing around with the idea of releasing it one song, one comic at a time. I don't know where where I land on that because we could. If that's the way to do it, then it wouldn't be waiting till 2026 for a full album. It might be every couple months you get a new song in the comic. So I'm still not sure where I land on that, but the first one could be out. If we go that way, the first song is ready to go, and the first comic's not ready, but we could target for early 2025 if that's the way we end up releasing it. I'm not sure yet though.
I want a copy.
Yeah.
I really do. I love comics. I'm a big comic fan. In fact,
Yeah, same.
I had an artist coming out of Canada once say, Grant, I'm going to put a comic together. Yeah. He wanted a bawdy version of, DJ Grant. And, really, I couldn't see it. I really couldn't see it. I really couldn't. But, I hope he's still doing it, actually. I hope he's still got it in mind because it'd be interesting to see how his mind works in the cartoon area, especially X-rated version of it. Yeah, okay, let's see what happens. Anyway, it would be remiss of me if I didn't ask this. The City's Burning. Tell me about this. Interesting title.
Okay, so I have to give credit where credit is due. Most of the songs we have, actually all the songs we have, I start off with the idea, I come up with the verse, the song structure, the chord progression, I take it to the band, and we hammer it into something else. This City's Burning is the first song in our collection where that's not been the case. Tyler, the guitarist, had written that song. He's a multi-instrumentalist. He played everything. And I mentioned earlier that we were playing around with learning how to mix our own songs. So he was just playing around with, recording and mixing something himself, and he showed it to the band. And I liked what he showed us, and that was the infant version of This City's Burning. So at that point in time, the title and the lyrics were there, and I knew what he was going for with that, but I kind of co-opted it. So that song is on the EP by Cheetah, and the whole EP altogether is supposed to be an experience that, in some capacity, is a reflection of what we all went through during that kind of lockdown time. And so the EP starts off with This City's Burning, and I think the argument can be made that during that period in time, more people in the world experienced some version of that, whether it's a forest fire caused by a gender reveal or for climate change, the crazy area, Australia burned up for millions of acres a couple of years ago, or whether it was a war zone, the horrible things that are going on around the world, or whether it was through a protest which got political attention during that time as well. So it just seemed that a lot of people in the world, more so than maybe any other time, could relate to a song like that. Just the chaos.
I absolutely love that explanation. I really, really do. Joining me live is John Johnson from the band Touch the Buffalo and This City's Burning on Galaxy. I love that. Those first couple of words, you're sick. That's all me. I love that, I really do.
That's his girlfriend. She's still his girlfriend. But yeah, when when we were working on that song, she just started dating that girl. He put her voice in this opening track.
Well, I'm going to lift it. I'm going to use it.
Yeah, go for it.
Cool. And now I've got it on video. I've got permission. I'm going to use it in the breakfast, so I really am. I love that. I've thought about it every time I've heard it, but it's not until now that I've absolutely... Yeah, okay. I'll wait until the boys bugger off out of production and I'll go and lift it.
So what's okay? Earlier you're talking about you were asking about how we work with producers. We haven't actually ever worked with a producer. It's usually our own take. And Tyler he's got a mind for the really quirky fun stuff. I love it. I just don't think of it. So with all the effects and stuff like that, he's in that zone.
Nice.
So,
nice. Well, yeah. Tyler is on guitar too, by the way. Tyler and I would have something in common because I'm that type of guy that I love sound effects, I love sound bites, I love all sorts of things, just to quirkily play with. Which I'm going to ask you too, by the way. Next time you're near a recordable 58 microphone, how would you like to do me some voice drops?
Sure.
Just saying, hi, this is John Johnson from Touch the Buffalo. You can hear us on Galaxy or something like that. I usually say be creative. Otherwise, they're all the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the more times people hear your voice and identify which band you're with, the more times people will go and check you out before you know it, you're selling more koozies t-shirts. It's a promotional thing, you know. And we're not going to charge you for it. We're going to encourage you to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. By the way, are you familiar with Galaxy Artists on Facebook at all?
I think we're connected on Facebook. We're
Yeah,
talking to
yeah.
Barbara. So at least I've shared posts on your page, but I haven't liked you guys already.
Nice. Well, I tell you what, if you're familiar with the artist page, all I can say there, bro, is use it, use it, use it, use it, use it. And if I haven't said use it, please use it, because there is so many people go and have a look in there. They get to know who you are. If you put a new video in or a new track, if it's the opening of a shoebox, I don't care. Just use it. Let people know who the hell you are. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
And again, it's free for artists. If you're a business, it might be a different deal, but artists, it's all about helping, getting out there. That's right. You're right, Eric. Ooh, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, turned it up a bit much. I do apologise. Too much gain. You're right, Eric. Galaxy 107 FM, and today we're talking to John Johnson from the band Touch the Buffalo. John, are you familiar with Star Wars by any chance?
Yes, I've heard of it.
Okay, you know about the big guy in the black outfit. You know, he's got a breathing problem. He's got one of those lightsaber swords here. Believe me, that's like working around here. It really is. Especially with one of these things. Going, swinging backwards. You got to move out of the way. It's a hard hat area. Otherwise, you might lose an appendage. And she's very quick at it, you know, switching these things around. So forgive me if I make a bump on the video. I don't mean to. Having said that, my friend, yes, I'm going to ask. Believe me, they all know now that I've already found out that you have not vegan tendencies, but more vegetarian tendencies, right?
Yes.
But I got to be honest with you, for a number of years now, I've been trying to come to the bottom of a myth. And I think it's a very important myth, to be very honest with you, John. Have you ever tried a vegan sausage?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay, are they made out of real vegans or not?
yeah, they're made out of, they are. They're made out of real vegans, 100% real vegans.
Very cool, because I wanted to know. Believe me, I did an interview. I don't know whether you'd be familiar with a product called Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah, okay. Well, I did an interview with one of their executives, and I knew I was going to do this interview, so I sent out and got a bottle of the product just for, you know, props and effect, right?
Yeah.
And we're going through the interview, and I couldn't help myself. I just held it up, and it says Johnson & Johnson. He goes, yes, and I says, baby oil. He goes, yes, and I says, how many goes in the bottle? How many babies? They have never returned my calls, emails, nothing ever since. So, believe me, I think I found out. In fact, I kind of think it's about 3 rather large ones reduced down.
Oh, interesting. I've been using olive oil to massage olives. I didn't know it was made out of them.
Interesting. Okay, well, obviously you think out of the box, right? So check this one out. Could you imagine if your knees bent in the opposite direction, right?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, could you imagine how interesting chairs would be?
Yeah, that's a fun time.
It is, you know, it's something to think about. You know, it's like, what sort of car do you have?
I drive the BMW i3.
Oh, okay, one of those cheap ones. Could you imagine going through space at the speed of light and turning your lights on? Would they be in, you know, would they work?
The same speed. Okay, I know you're trying to be funny. For your joke, no, I'm going to say, actually, I don't know. I don't know if it would work. I'm not even sure for your joke.
Yeah, neither do I, but I mean, it'd be interesting putting the headlights on, really, and, you know, high beam, low beam, whatever, indicating. But in history, and this is really, really true, you may find this very, very cool, actually. Back in the cowboy days,
Here we go.
cowboys used to travel through night as much as they did during the daytime, but at night time they used to put a lantern on the left-hand side of their saddle, so ongoing cowboys could see them coming, right? Noted as the very first satellite communication.
That's great. That's great. Satellite communication.
You can have these, you can use these, I promise. Really. It's much like the very first man to ever fly. Literally. Now, everybody thinks it's the Wright brothers, right? But, you know, in history, don't forget about Icarus and his son. Yeah, okay, but before Icarus, there was actually a priest by the name of Father Pedro Morales coming out of Mexico. He was the very first one to fly. He strapped on a pair of wings, climbed to the tower, top of the tower, jumped off, and became the very first air fryer.
Oh my God. You're ready. Yeah, I don't know if you're a dad, but you're ready.
Oh, I'm a stand-up comedian. I used to do it for a living. Believe me,
Oh, no.
I did. I really did. So, now that we've broken the ice and we've got to the very, very last song, and believe me, folks, you're going to love this. It is the most requested Touch the Buffalo track we have here at Galaxy. Can't get through a breakfast show without absolutely having it included somewhere. Tell me about Six Heads about it, because I love this.
I'm so, Grant, it makes me so happy that you love this song because this song is my baby. I love this song also. I'd say before COVID, I went through a difficult heartbreak for myself. I'm not going to give the story because the truth is, I don't know, I feel like very vulnerable. But in trying to understand it, I just felt like I was going crazy because I was in this. The reason it's called In Six Heads About It is because I couldn't land on how I actually felt about it. I felt like I could, I convinced myself of 6 different ways to view it. I gotta never talk to you again. We could make it. So we go all the way. You're the one that I want. Whatever it is. And so I wanted to bring that sort of chaos to a song. I wanted to represent that in the structures. The structures all over the place. There is a logic to the structures, a form to it, but I would imagine as a listener, it's not going to be obvious to you. It would probably take a few listens to kind of figure out what's going on there. I was playing around with some. I wanted to bring a lot of variety, but in a repeatable format to where the listener wouldn't realize how different it was, but also but being aware that it is very different. So yeah, I want to bring chaos through it. And so yeah, that's kind of just the song. I was melodically, structurally, I wanted to spell out the feeling of what I had been going through this heartbreak, which was just being lost.
Well, John, I've got to congratulate you. It's not often that I find a track that I absolutely want to play in my car. This is it. It's in my car. Here's Touch the Buffalo, Six Heads About It. How you feeling, John? You okay?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks, Grant.
Nice. We'll wrap it up after this, but please don't go anywhere because I do have a few things I want to discuss with you, and it's about promoting you a little bit more. Having said that, my friend, I really, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for not only taking the interview, but putting up with an old man like me.
And also,
It's just been fun. I thank you guys for having me and sharing our music. Like it doesn't matter how good you are if no one knows that you exist, and you guys are really helping us out, and I'm very grateful.
Well, believe me, I'm very, very humbled to hear that. I really am, because I love your work. I don't think, honestly, you guys are poised for the next stage. You know what I mean? You're ready to go there. So, and I want to see that happen. I really do. So I want to try and help.
Thank you very much. I don't know how to connect those dots, but it's what we want,
Well, it's all about not what you know. Maybe sometimes it's about who you know.
Okay, I've heard that.
Yeah. Believe me. I went to university. I forgot the first thing ever. As soon as I got into radio, everything that I ever learnt in radio, in university about radio, tossed out the window. It was like,
isn't that crazy? I went to school for in business and information technology. My first week in the workforce, I'm like, oh, all that's worthless here.
completely. I mean,
yeah.
what the hell did you guys get paid to teach us?
Oh my god, it was crazy.
Unfortunately,
Okay, well, the truth, I picked my college because of how good their food was. I didn't pick my major until 3 years into attending.
I got my university chosen for me, literally. I was in a small little radio station in a heck little town in the west coast of the South Island of New Zealand, and all I was doing was going, delivering mail, doing the coffee, sweeping the floors. I was a gopher, basically. And one day, one of the DJs had a serious accident. In fact, he had his appendix burst on him, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that left me in the studio all by myself. And I had a choice. I could either go home, close the doors, forget about it, it's not my job, or I could sit in the seat and try and carry it through until the next one. Well, I did
You
that.
rose to the moment.
I did that, and these people came in with the boss, and the boss wasn't too happy to start with, but these people convinced, hey, listen, he's doing you a favour. In the end, this guy came to me, he says, like to send you to university, have you ever thought about it? You know, take this career a little bit further? I went, no, I've never thought about it. He says, well, think about it. And if you do, tell you what, you make your grades, I'll pay for it. If you don't, you pay for it. So I went to university for 5 years, learned a whole heap of everything about nothing. And the day I graduated, I had a plane ticket there waiting for me to go to the biggest city and start a job there, unbeknownst to me, which was the biggest radio station in the bloody country.
Wow.
You know, landed on my feet, and that guy was my mentor for many years. He really was.
What? It's a great story.
Yeah, they originally first started off in a boat out in the middle of nowhere, 12-mile limit, because they weren't allowed to broadcast because it wasn't.
Wait, is that those are the guys from Pirate Radio?
Yes. Yeah.
What? No way, that's great.
Yeah, but by the time I came along, of course, the boat sunk. Right? They went out looking for a Russian sailor that fell off his boat. So, in the middle of a storm that was ridiculous, with a mast that's so bloody high it was hitting the water every time it was rocking. Right? I mean, I think the mast was about 35 feet tall on a 30-foot boat. Right? And they're broadcasting away, and then suddenly they forget where the hell they were, and they ran into rocks and sunk. Right?
Yeah.
And Philip Lynham, one of my very close friends, he was the last radio announcer on that boat. As they were sinking, he's broadcasting going, we're hitting against rocks now. I'm sitting there going, Phil, what were you thinking? He goes, my butt was puckered.
Wow, live broadcasting as crashing a boat into a rock. It's amazing.
It was nuts. That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and today we're talking to John Johnson from the band Touch the Buffalo, and so very, very happy to make his acquaintance. Now, I got to ask you, you're coming into winter now, you're coming out of summer. Any plans for setting up festivals and everything for the next summer festival season coming around?
No. I mean, no. We're in a weird spot right now. I mean, this past summer, we took it seriously. We lined up a handful of gigs. We did kind of a bit of a mini tour, and we landed in. We ended the tour at what's it called? It was South Dakota Festival. Where am I blanking on the name? It's a biker rally, Sturgis Biker Rally. We played Kickstand Campground, but so you mentioned on this show we don't talk politics, which is a pretty safe rule of music. You know, everyone's feeling different. I tend to lean more left. out here in South Dakota at the Sturgis Biker Rally. It's very strong, conservative, right-thinking people. That's whatever. But the stage manager is this older guy. If I had to describe him, he was like a human version of Pumbaa from The Lion King. Just kind of a stout, short guy. He had a biker cap on, long hair. He's probably pushing his 60s. And he asked me what my political affiliation was, and I told him. And then he tried to get us off stage, and it was just awkward. So he's like, "Okay, I'm just kidding. I'll let you guys play." We had 2 songs in, and he pulled us off. So it was expensive and a huge effort to get out there. And we've been at it for 7 years. You get wins, you get losses. That took the wind out of our sails a bit. So we're kind of just taking some time off to work on this album. I don't see any shows for festival season 2025.
Okay, fair enough. I noted here that you've opened for people like Good Charlotte and Gin Blossoms, for instance, and Sugar Ray. Did you meet Sugar Ray personally?
I didn't get to meet any of them. That was one of those. You know how it works. You go to the festivals. There's the headlining tent. There's a small people tent. So we were at the small people tent, but it counts. It counts.
It really does.
Got to see them play for free. I'll take that.
I get it. I really do. And believe me, I've been in the position of being in the bigger tent, and sorry guys, I've got to go and see the other guys in the other tent.
I do have one for you. Do you remember the band Rat from the 80s?
Yes, I do. In fact, I know them very well.
I met them in the airport going to the Sturgis rally. We saw them in the airport. We got to shake hands and everything.
They're really cool people. They're down-to-earth people.
So I don't know if they remember me, but they heard me say the name of my band and shook my hand. So that's going in my little scrapbook.
Nice, and congratulations. But like most, artists, at the end of the day, humans, you know what I mean? We all breathe, we all bleed, and we all love and everything like that. So when you do meet an artist, especially if it's somebody that's a hero of yours, respect, okay? Be respectful, honestly. That's all I can say. One weird thing that ever happened to me, I was talking about cartoons earlier on, just before we wrap this up. In fact, I'm heading to that city after we do this interview because I've got to go and do some legal stuff. And literally it really is heavy deal legal stuff. It's getting a notary to sign papers for us, official government stamps, everything like that. So after we wrap this up, I'm going to be heading there. But in the city, by sheer chance, just randomly, I decided I'll drop into a supermarket, get some supplies for going home, surprise the wife, we'll make dinner, you know what I mean? And while I'm standing at the checkout, this little old lady standing there in front of me, and she continuously is looking at me, she's staring at me, and I'm thinking, the hell, what's on your mind, lady, you know what I mean? But she's smiling away, and she's sort of frowning at the same time and smiling away, and the lady at the checkout, she's sort of looking at me going, what's going on here? And I don't know. And finally I got to the point where I just said, hello, and she goes, you look nothing like your cartoon. And I went, pardon? I mean, how random is that? Literally, her granddaughter apparently watches these interviews that we do, and also loves the cartoons and everything like that that come up. And she just had this get it out there. She goes, wasn't sure if it was you or not until I saw your hat. Because I was wearing my hat at the time. And I well, fair enough, thank you very much for your comment. I got in the car and I went to Barbara, I look nothing like my cartoon. She goes, oh yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yeah, anyway, I love the cartoons simply because they actually do make me look really good. They really do. Having said that, we are going to have to wrap it up. Please don't go anywhere just yet because we do want to talk to you about being able to promote you a little bit more. Having said that, folks, thank you for joining us. Believe me, it's the last interview we're doing this week. Barbara's going on a hiatus for the rest of the week, and so join me for the breakfast show between 5:30 every morning. But Barbara will be joining me in the morning, just after 5 o'clock apparently, about 5:05 she agreed to. If I make the cuppa, join me then. We'll take you through until 10 o'clock in the breakfast show. In the meantime, stay safe, stay happy, and happy radio, everyone.